Yes, welcome. Recently, Edo State governor set up a panel, that is a task force rather, a task force to recover government lands, government property that be occupied by individual. It's a welcome development because the property, government property belongs to all citizens of the state. It's not just for a particular person. It's very wrong for an individual to encroach on government land, build on it, and start living on it. No, it's very wrong. We understand that. Because going by the Land Use Act, all the Section 1 and all the relevant section of the Land Use Act, the governor owns the land in trust. That is the property, the land of the state. The governor owns it in trust for the people. That is it. Notwithstanding that, the Constitution, especially Chapter 4, specifically section 43, gives individual the right to own immovable property in the state. Government land is not included in the immovable property. Government property, that section does not give individual the right to occupy government land or government property illegally. And the next section, which is section 44, also give the government right to acquire compulsory acquisition of property by the government. That means the government can acquire any property at all and grant compensation to whoever is living there. Whoever CFO, right, a certificate of occupancy has been issued to before, the government can acquire that land. Especially the land, the acquisition must be for public interest. That means the government cannot acquire the land take it from an individual and give it to a third party. No, it's very wrong. It must be for public interest. What is public interest? For example, markets. Yes, markets. Public schools, they are for public interest. Not acquire the land and give it to an individual. That anyway. So let's come to the crux of the matter. Yes, the governor is right to set up a task force, but the manner in which this task force, the manner they are using to execute the action is totally wrong. They'll just mark your property and say, "Oh, you're using it for kidnapping," and then, or maybe you built on government land. We are recovering possession. They'll just bring caterpillar overnight and destroy the property. It's totally wrong. Nobody is above the law. The government and the citizen must obey the law. The court has overflogged this in plethora of cases, especially the notorious one of Lagos State government versus Ojukwu, Bishop Okoje versus Lagos State government, and the rest. That self-help is not allowed in law. Self-help is not allowed. The law must be followed. So now, in my own opinion, and reasonably thinking, I don't think that demolishing those property is the best thing to do. Why did I say so? Because going by the principles of quid platato solo sedit, he that owns the land owes everything on the land, beneath it and above it. Is it not reasonable for government or for the tax force to acquire the property, that is following due process, apply to court will grant the necessary order, you take over property? It's not reasonably that instead of demolishing the property, it's not reasonably to give coppers to use it as a coppers lodge, or use it as maybe give it to headmaster, headmistress, principals to be staying as principal's lodge instead of demolishing it, since the people have ended up building for government, ended up donating the building for government indirectly. Is it not wise in that regard instead of demolishing it? That aside. And again, if in any way the task force interpreted the law in a retrospective manner, is totally wrong. Now, this law, especially the one pertaining to kidnapping, this anti-kidnapping law, was repealed not long ago, this year 2025. So, if there's any acts, yes, the old one was repealed while new one was passed into law. The old one was repealed. The old one, I think that of 2013 was repealed, and the new one was passed into law. So my point is, now, if there's any act that was done before, or somebody aided kidnapping before, and now this new law has been passed, the task force cannot use the law in a retrospective manner. The law does not hold that person responsible. Rather, the law will take effect from the day it was passed into law, and not done in a retrospective manner. How do I mean? For example, if in the law, demolition, yes, it was not in the section before, it was not in the law before. Demolition buildings of those who did kidnapping was not in the section before. So now that the new law has been passed, the task force people cannot go and demolish the house of Mr. A because of Mr. A aided kidnapping last year, 2024, Meanwhile, the law was passed 2025. You cannot interpret the law in a retrospective manner. And the funny thing is that all these acts of the task force, all these illegal acts of the task force, unlawful acts of the task force, will only cause distraction to the government, because 99% of such cases that have gone to court, the person, the litigants, I mean the aggrieved persons, usually win. On the more serious note, they usually come out victorious. Go and check, fast check. 99% of that, because that's the only remedy. Once they come to your property and demolish, the best thing, go to court. And if you know you are able to prove your title and that land does not belong to the government, you will definitely win in court. No two ways about it. So nobody is above the law. And for the government, he that comes to equity must come with clean hands. If they must carry out their tax, they must carry it effectively, not ranting around.